Hello, I'm Rich Jacobs with Drive Smart Virginia. This presentation will go over some traffic safety trends that have come up in the last 5, 6 years since COVID and give you an idea of what the situation is out there on the roads and what you can do to protect yourself. What does this have to do with workplace safety? For most people, the most dangerous part of the workday is the commute to and from work. Transportation incidents are the leading cause of workplace death in the U.S., accounting for almost 40% of fatalities. Commuting to and from work is among the highest risk activities for most employees. And even though commuting falls outside the on-the-job statistics, the driving risk doesn't magically vanish the moment the employees finish their work shift. While Americans drove less in 2020 due to the pandemic, an estimated 38,680 people died in motor vehicle traffic crashes, the largest number of traffic fatalities since 2007. This represents an increase of about 7.2% compared to the roughly 36,000 fatalities reported in 2019. What does that mean? Well, post-COVID, reckless driving behaviors like speeding, not buckling up, drunk or impaired driving in general, plus relaxed cannabis laws. The national traffic fatality numbers are still higher than before COVID. I know this is a big chart with a lot of small numbers, but basically, if you look at 2019, you'll see the number of fatalities we had on Virginia roadways was 827. In 2020, 847. This is interesting because we didn't drive as much in 2020, but the number of fatalities went up. And they've stayed up. 2021 saw even higher numbers, 968. In 2022, we broke 1,000 fatalities on Virginia roadways for the first time in decades. In 2023, it started to come back down, but then bounced up a little in 2024. These are the most recent complete numbers I have, and they definitely show that we have not returned to pre-COVID levels in traffic fatalities. So something is wrong. Alcohol-related crashes in Virginia also trend up. The 264, I believe, in 2019, and then if you go all the way over to 2024, 318. Those are all alcohol-related traffic fatalities. Cannabis use, well, we see more of it out there. You probably smell it at stoplights. With broadening legalization, the percentage of U.S. adults who report they smoke marijuana has more than doubled in the past 10 years. During that same period, the percentage reporting that they've tried it at least once has climbed from 38% to 50%. So more people are using it. Speeding. While COVID-19 restrictions were in place, many drivers saw less traffic as an opportunity to speed. This problem continues. In 2023, speeding killed 11,775 people. Okay, here's an illustration of what's going on. Virginia traffic crashes. You'll see in 2019, just before COVID, 120,000 plus traffic crashes. In 2020, the number of traffic crashes went down significantly, which you would expect, considering there were so few miles traveled by vehicle miles traveled during COVID. We just weren't driving. But the fatality rate went up. If you remember the earlier numbers, in 2020, the fatality rate leaped to a much higher level. If the number of crashes went down, but the number of fatalities went up, what does that tell you about the average crash? It was less survivable. And here are the fatality numbers I was talking about. 2020, you see we slight increase over 2019, but vehicle miles traveled was way down because we just weren't driving. So these numbers are very weird. It doesn't usually look like this. Usually when vehicle miles traveled goes down, the number of traffic crashes goes down and the number of fatalities goes down. But in this case, because people were driving more recklessly, on average, the lethality of each crash went up. Speed-related fatalities, you can see they are still on the climb. And, this is a law enforcement problem and an education problem for many drivers. A lot of people don't understand how kinetic energy works. You might think that if you double your speed, it would double the risk, but it doesn't. It quadruples it. If you are driving 40 miles an hour compared to 20 miles an hour, If you hit something, the impact will have a force 4 times the impact of the 20-mile-an-hour crash. That's just the way physics works. Aggressive driving, we've all seen it. Hopefully we haven't done it, but car, truck, what have you, insulates the driver from the outside world. The driver develops a sense of detachment, like they're an observer of their own surroundings rather than a participant. It's kind of like the video game syndrome. This can lead to some people feeling less constrained in their behavior when they can't be seen by others or when it's not likely that they'll ever see those who see their behavior ever again. The best thing that you can do to protect yourself and indirectly your family is to wear a seatbelt. They depend on you. You want to be there for them. We all have responsibilities. Buckle up so that you'll be around in the future. It's not necessarily your mistake that'll get you in trouble, but someone else. I mean, red light running now is a huge problem. I used to ride a motorcycle as my exclusive form of transportation for years, and I wouldn't do it now. There are too many red light runners, too many distracted drivers. So wear your seatbelt. It's just common sense. There's a reason that seatbelts are in vehicles. Professional drivers wear them all the time, and we should all be doing it, because if you get ejected from a vehicle in a crash, there's a 75% likelihood you'll die. So buckle up. Unrestrained occupant crashes in Virginia. For some reason, our seatbelt use rate dropped around COVID and post-COVID because the unbelted occupant crashes that resulted in fatalities went up as well. So they're following the same trend. Again, please buckle up. Not yours. In 2023, for the first time ever, maybe, Virginia had the worst seatbelt use rate in the United States. And we remain near the bottom of the list. We're not at the bottom anymore, but we're certainly not getting any prizes. So there are a lot of folks out there who maybe buckle up at work, but then think, I don't have to wear it now. I'm driving home. Please buckle up when you're out there with the morons. Enough said. Seatbelts keep occupants in place and reduce injuries during a crash. I already told you 75% of people ejected die. And knocked from the driver's position, something a lot of people don't think about during a crash, or they don't. Let me restate that. If you're knocked from the driver position, something a lot of people don't think about is that during a crash, you're not able to control the vehicle, potentially making the crash worse because you can't control the vehicle if you're not behind the wheel. Buckle up. It'll keep you there. Plus, airbags and all the other systems in vehicles these days to protect the occupants don't work if you're not wearing your seatbelt. That airbag comes out of that dashboard or steering wheel going pretty fast. So if you're not buckled up, it's really going to hurt. And it's also the law in Virginia. Every seat now, even the rear passengers, are supposed to buckle up. It's the law. What does it look like when a vehicle crashes with an unbelted passenger in the back seat? This is an IIHS test. 35 miles an hour, and you can see that the driver is not having a good day. And that could have been avoided if the rear seat passenger had simply put on that seatbelt that's hanging there. Thanks to our friends at IIHS in Ruckersville, Virginia, for giving us that to use. And distracted driving. This is one of the biggest and most difficult to measure problems on the road today. Distracted driving is anything that takes your attention away from the task of driving, and it increases, obviously, the likelihood of a motor vehicle crash. There are three main types of distraction. Pardon me. Visual, where you take your eyes off the road. Manual, where you take your hands off the wheel. And cognitive, which is where you take your mind off the task of driving. The worst thing about cell phone use, smartphone use in cars, texting while driving, that sort of thing, is it involves all three types of distraction. And look away for a second, bad things can happen. Only takes a second to send a text, right? That traffic looked like it was moving, but when she glanced away,
Are you okay?
when she glanced back, she realized it was stopped. Surveys show that adults recognize distracted driving when it's the other guy, but we make excuses for our own risky driving behavior. It's true. Think about it. Virginia has a move over law. I want to make sure everybody is aware of it and what it means. In a nutshell, very simply, if you're going down a highway in Virginia and you see flashing lights on the side of the road, either side of the road, and it's say 2 lanes in each direction divided highway, or 3 in each direction, or 4 in each direction. If you're in the lane nearest to the flashing lights, you need to move over 1 lane. And if you can't move over 1 lane safely, then slow down and pass at a safe speed. What's a safe speed? A speed slow enough that you would be able to react quickly if something were to happen and your lane would be blocked or someone would step into your lane or what have you. So move over, and if you can't move over, just slow down to an appropriate speed. It's not complicated.
Whenever you see blue, red, or yellow flashing lights on the side of the highway, be extra vigilant because tragedy can happen in an instant. There's a law in Virginia. On a highway, when you see flashing red, yellow, or blue lights of an emergency vehicle or any vehicle on the shoulder displaying hazard flashers, flares, or a caution sign, move over and leave a buffer lane between your vehicle and the stopped vehicle. If you can't move over safely, proceed with caution and slow down as needed per highway conditions. Move over for flashing lights and keep the road safe for everyone.
All fixed, buddy. Let's head home.
A message from Drive Smart Virginia and the DMV Highway Safety Office.
Thank you very much for your time. That's my message. Please buckle up. Don't speed. Drive sober. Don't drive high. And be a little more polite out there. Everybody seems to be a little amped up these days. Let folks merge in if they use a turn signal and they're indicating they want to merge in. Give them a little space. Little things like that make a big difference out there. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.